is innocent through his public defender. But let's touch on this investigator, Ed Gavin. Ed, thank you for being with us. It's important to note that Kohberger does claim he is innocent through his public defender. But let's touch on this criminal justice link. Could this be a case where he was obsessed with other killers, serial killers, or crime in general?
I think it's possible, sure.
You know, there are reports
Definitely.
that Kohberger wore gloves when he was out in public weeks after the murders. We have to confirm that. But what do we know about the DNA evidence linking him to that home?
Well, I think that the police did a great job in obtaining the DNA evidence. And another thing they did, they determined that there was some familial DNA. There was a marker, and there was a hit, and they matched, Kohberger to a relative apparently. But another thing they did was they canvassed the crime scene in the neighborhood rather quickly, and they identified that white Hyundai Elantra. And I think that really helped this investigation. That may have even helped to identify Mr. Kohberger.
Investigators have said from the beginning that they believe this was a targeted attack. So, do we know anything about whether he would have actually been acquainted with any of the victims?
I think it's entirely possible. I mean, one of the young ladies, I believe, worked in the hospitality industry, and perhaps maybe he went to that one of the locations and patronized the establishment. I don't know. It's also been stated in other reports that he became a problem in one of the hometown Pennsylvania bars that he was known to frequent. So, yeah, entirely possible that there may be some nexus there.
He appears to have gone about his daily routine. He went to work, he attended classes as he normally would. And it was his father who drove back with him to Pennsylvania, back and forth between Idaho and Pennsylvania, spotted by witnesses in that white Hyundai Elantra. What kind of questions or potentially what kind of charges would his father face?
Well, I don't know that his father's going to face any charges just yet. I mean, it could be innocuous. I think that the alleged subject, Bryan Kohberger, probably wanted to bring his father along for the ride so that it would look more innocuous as they drove out east. I think that was a calculated move on Mr. Bryan, the subject, the alleged suspect, Mr. Kohberger, to take that car out east. I mean, he's driving a plain Jane, a white Hyundai, which looks like a Nissan Sentra, which looks like a Toyota Corolla, a Chevy Cruze, and a Kia Steltos. And, he probably figured, look, let me get this car off the grid. Let me get it back to Pennsylvania. I think when the police put out this press release, they put out a press release, the Moscow police and the FBI, I think that rattled his cage. And I think he said to himself, look, I got to get off the grid. I got to get back to Pennsylvania, get this car in the garage. That's what I'm thinking.
Ed, we really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
Thank you for watching.